And we are live. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome back to the Moms for Trans Kids podcast. Me llamo Doctora Lulu. I'm your beautiful hostess with the mostest. Hi, welcome to another. We missed y'all last week. We kind of took a little bit of a break because it's what moms do. But we're back this week as we kind of usher out the special month dedicated to LGBT plus history, aka October. So, welcome to another episode of Moms for Trans Kids podcast. My name is Dr. Lulu. I am a pediatrician, life coach, and corporate consultant. I help everybody support parents of LGBTQ plus kids because somebody has to do it. Hi, y'all. Okay. All right.
Hey.
So, alphabetically, ideally should be our special guest. So let's go. All right, Afsane, who are you and what are you doing on a show about moms for trans kids?
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I am a children's author and a homeschooling coach, and I am the proud mom of a non-binary child who is 11, and my child's existence has completely transformed my whole life. Turned me into a picture book author, turned me into a homeschooling parent and a homeschooling coach. And everything about everything I do is, how to support my kid and other kids and make space for children who are unique and need extra acceptance, support, validation, and just celebrating who they are.
Wow, that's a lot. I think all of us probably have all become, at the very minimum, advocates, but at the very full presentation is activists, advocates, and allies. Those three A's. So where the triple A's is automatic. Well, it should be automatic. Obviously, it's not. That's why we're here, right? Because there's still some parents who need to get it. But yeah. Thank you so much. Wow. Kimmy, did you hear that? What do you have to say about that? Oh, she became an author and everything.
Oh, you're baiting me. Yes. So my intro, I'm Kimmy, or Kim, I guess. And I am a mama bear of two wonderful sons. My oldest is 22 and my youngest is 16. And they are both transgender. They both had different journeys and, unique journeys and unique challenges and unique successes. And so I'm just here to share day-to-day life. I keep it real here. That's what I do. That's my role. And I'm just happy to meet you. I'm glad. Welcome to the podcast, and hang on for the ride and come back.
That's right. Yeah. What about you, Vicky? What's up? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Good to see you all. Nice to meet you, Afsane. My name is Vicky Fowler, and I'm a family medicine physician in North Carolina, and have three wonderful children. One happens to be transgender, female. One happens to be non-binary, and they are, as you said, your children basically helped you become the person you are, Afsane, and my children have definitely helped me become the person I am and the physician I am and the advocate and ally that I am. And so I just am grateful for those wonderful human beings that were given to me to raise, and very, very excited about the journey I'm on together with you, wonderful moms, in this.
Yeah, I tell you, the advocacy part is, the ally, with all three, you don't have to be an activist. I don't think everyone is comfortable with the word. I'm very comfortable. It fits like a glove, but definitely the advocacy and the allyship. I mean, it's like once you know that this is your child, and like Gail is not here, but Gail usually says just parent the child you're given, which is so amazing. Just parent the child you're given. If it has a long nose, parent the child. If it has a horn, parent the child. Just parent the child you're given. Yeah, that's it. So before we get into the nitty-gritty on this show, we try to do a little bit of gratitude to stay grounded. For one, I want to go last because it's something that happened 2 weeks ago that I'm so thankful for, but we didn't go live last week, so I couldn't share it, but I want to share that as my gratitude moment. So who wants to go first with gratitude? I'm going to say Vicky, and we'll go backwards.
Yay, I was hoping I would get to go first. Okay, so I'm going to do 3. You said we could do 3. Am I right?
Yes.
So as a parent, so this past week I was out of town. My husband and I were out of town for 4 days. And as a parent, I'm very grateful that my youngest child, Will, was able to hold down the fort, get himself to school, and be a grown-up young person at the age of 17 and maneuver through all of that seamlessly. That was big for me in my life. So that was my parenting gratitude. Professional and personal kind of wrapped up together. This past week, I was at a national meeting of the American Academy of Family Physicians. And on a personal and professional level, I was able to connect with women and men, mothers and fathers, individuals who are raising children who are gender diverse, and just the bonds that you have when you hear someone say, my child is transgender, and you are able to really understand and meet them where they are in their journey, because some of us are in other parts of that journey. It was just really fulfilling.
Wow. I think it's almost like you don't expect to hear it, and then you hear, you know how they say, if you're in a crowded room and somebody says your name, even if they whisper your name, you hear it. Yeah. That's exactly what's happening with being a parent of a transgender. Really, for me, being a parent of a queer child, but parent of a trans kid nonetheless, I just like, it's a magnet now. Like I just say it and people just see me and then they start coming.
Yes. Yes.
Kim, just so you know, off the record, somebody very special is watching this.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Yes. And their name rhymes with rat, and you know them. Yes. And their name rhymes with rat. I'm getting a lot of love on Facebook. Hey, Matt. Actually, Matt. But yeah. So
thank you, my son.
Yes. So that is an amazing thing to be grateful for, being able to be doing this work and suddenly realizing that it's a magnet for other parents to come into the space and feel seen and feel valued and feel loved and feel cared for and just feel like, yeah, we count. Our journeys matter. Our journeys, parents' lives matter. That's my thing. That's my little hashtag. Parents' lives matter. What about you, Kimmy? What do you want to, what is your gratitude moment?
Well, I think this week I'll combine like the professional and the personal a little bit and into all in one. You know, at the end of the year, the company that I work for, you know, they encourage everybody to use up their paid time off, their vacation time. So on one hand, I'm very grateful that I have a bunch to use up. On the other hand, I have a lot of work to do, but I also have such a flexible, you know, work and understanding work that, you know, it's allowing me to take some days that I need. You know, we need our mental health days. We need to take them. We need to take care of ourselves, and we need to step away from the crazy for a while. And, you know, I'm grateful. I'm really grateful that I get a chance to do that. You know, fortunately, I don't get a chance to take a big chunk of a time and go anywhere, you know, magnificent, but I'm appreciating little days, you know, and just kind of chipping away at the at the balance. And you know what, it's great because, you know, if you take one day off a week for the rest of the year, you know, that's pretty nice, you know. A 4-day work week, I'll take it for the rest of the year.
Yes.
So I'm super grateful about that. So
yes.
Yay.
Yay. Yay. Celebrate just being able to give ourselves permission to rest. For me, this past week, I rested. And because of what happened this past week, from now on, every month, I will take 1 week off from now on because of what happened to me this past week. So yes, I welcome that need to pause and rest. And for those who are listening to us, if you have any questions, any comments, please let us know. I will see all your questions and I'll see all your comments, and we'll try to field as many of them as possible. So we're going to hop on to our beautiful guest today, who is actually joining us from Mexico.
Yes, I'm in Oaxaca, Mexico right now. Yes.
Yes, joining us from Mexico. So what are you grateful for today? What are or this week or this year or whatever? What is one thing you're grateful for?
On a parenting note, I was reminded this morning how grateful I am that my kid has a great sense of humor. My sense of humor, actually. And when those moments get intense, we're able to use humor to get ourselves out of the intensity and back into the fun of things, which is, I have an 11-year-old, so it's really the time for humor because the hormones are going crazy. And on a professional note, I'm so grateful for the work I get to do. I work with, I'm a homeschooling coach. I work pretty specifically with parents struggling to homeschool neurodivergent kids. And there's such an amazing crossover because it's, again, another area. It's not really a separate area, but you have to accept your child for who they are. You have to find out what their needs are, how they learn, how to help them. And there's actually, higher rates of LGBTQIA plus amongst neurodivergent kids because they just don't have the ability to closet themselves. They can't conform just because you want them to. So there's all, when we talk about kids, there's so much overlap, intersectionality, and I'm so grateful that I get to support parents in that and figuring out how to really, figure out who their kids are, but in respect to their learning at home. So.
I love it. As a pediatrician, I want to say kudos, but also as an advocate and as an activist for the LGBT plus community children, I also want to say kudos, and also for parents, I want to say kudos really to you and Kim. I want to celebrate that Kim has a job that supports her, because as y'all know or don't know, I help organizations support parents of queer kids, but also to see you supporting parents this way. And yes, the study that came out last year from the UK said 70 to 80% of neurodivergent kids are also LGBT, or is it the other way around? Kimmy, do you remember which way it was? I know I posted it on Facebook when it first came out.
I thought it was neurodivergent was LGBTQ.
LGBT, okay. So
I
it's something
think
like
so,
that.
but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, it's something like this. But you know what? The good thing is that there's a study. It's been done. You can look it up. Okay, if Dr. Google exists, so if I can look it up, you can look it up too. So it's 70 to 80%, I think, for people listening, I think so, of neurodivergent kids are also LGBT or both. But I always err on the side of, I don't care what the number says, is still under, because most people will not raise their hands because of all the things that happen when you raise your hand. So even if it said 99%, I'm still going to say that's still too little, because we know that there's some people who would just never raise their hand. So thank you so much for doing such an amazing thing. I don't think I've ever heard of a homeschooling parenting coach who actually takes care of that tiny little niche. Kimmy, you see how little that niche is, and then she's able to pull it off. That's great.
I do.
Nice. I love it. For me, I just want to say I'm grateful for the fact that 2 weeks ago we started meditating, because our amazing guest brought in meditation into our lives again. And I've only missed 2 days in 14 days, and it's been amazing. I've just been enjoying, I've been floating, really. I've been manifesting and attracting and just doing all the things with the meditation. So I want to offer you, if you're listening to us, if you've ever considered meditating, don't stop. Start today. And I was like, oh, how do we? He said, guided meditation. And that's true. There's all kinds of apps out there that can help you with your meditation. And let me tell you, it makes a huge difference. So now I've upped my game to do it twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, because why not? Ooh, yes.
Get to sleep. I use it a lot to get.
I've been doing them at night too before I go to bed. Yeah, it helps a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been doing the music on YouTube for about a year or two every night before I go to bed. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I listen to the ones that I've kind of like talking to you, and other times I don't. But now I've been more intentional to actually look for a meditation just before bed, and then I'll listen to the music. So it's been awesome. Yay. And just in time for the next quarter. So this is the Moms for Trans Kids show. We're at the quarter mark. So it's time to do something that I know Kim cannot wait to do today. So Kimmy, what is on your mind? Vicky, what is on your mind? Anthony, what is on your mind? Talk to me. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right,
I
good.
want him to go first because I can't stand it. I'm dying.
Okay.
No, in a way, it's not a big deal, but for me, it's kind of a big deal, and for my kids, it's kind of a big deal. And I'm so glad that Afsane, you're our guest today, because I'm going for a neuropsych test tomorrow, and I'm, they're going to check for a lot of different things that I kind of feel have been overlooked through my childhood and adulthood, stuff that you just kind of overcome and adapt to, and it hasn't, it's been a challenge. It's been hard. And there's things I'm really good at. There's things I'm really struggling at, but I've always been able to just at least make it work. Whether it works well or not is another story, but I've always made it work. But tomorrow they're going to do a thorough test. It's going to be like 3 or 4 hours long. They're like, carve out a chunk of time. Now my kids, they're both transgender. I'm sure they're on a spectrum somewhere, but just haven't really been. Well, my youngest I know has been. I don't know, Matt, you can chime in. You're here, but but you're stalking me because that's what kids do, right? I know, but my youngest one, is ADHD, and he's got a few other things, but I think me understanding and knowing myself better might help them maybe not have it so hard growing up if they know and can identify any challenges that they might have that's hereditary. I think that's that's going to be interesting. I am open to talking about mental health in a kind of blunt kind of way, because I think it's very important. It's a very important topic when we're talking about LGBTQ, very important topic when we're talking about our kids. And, so I kind of want to share my journey with you all, with you moms, because, I think we might have some good conversation that comes out of this. So you are stalking, Matt. Don't even.
So good. So good. So this is actually just an example of how I know sometimes we as parents forget about taking care of ourselves and forget that if our child has something, we might also have something else, or it's the same thing. So, but it's always good to just kind of normalize the conversation that we are also just as normal as our kids, and we struggle what we struggle with. I know Kim shared some other things with me recently, that some new, maybe I guess diagnosis, for lack of a better term, that she's like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I found out, because now we know what it is.
Oh yeah, we were talking about dyslexia, and yeah. I'm curious to see how they're gonna test me for that. Like if it's something that you truly have all your life, like how do you know what's, like you're taking the test like you would read a book, or I don't know, read Facebook.
I don't know either, but we'll find out.
I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I'll let you know.
I'm excited. What about you, Afsane? What do you have on your mind? Anything you want to tell us before we get into really talking to you as our guest today? Anything pressing? I'm just
listening to Kim, it really just for me underscores the need for us to continue to push to make space in our society, because everybody is having their own experience and they're processing information and experiencing the world in their own way. And there's just so much pressure to not be yourself or to not be accepted for whatever form that may take. So I think that's why, I'm so glad that I'm here, and it's so good that we're doing this, but we have so far to go to just be able to make space where everybody gets respected for however they express themselves, whoever they are. And unfortunately we have a long way to go, but hopefully we can get respect for all of the kids that we can be around and influence what happens to them.
And just normalizing. I love Kim for that, for setting the pace for normalizing that I'm going to go have a neuropsych test tomorrow, and it's just like going to see a dentist tomorrow. It's like, okay, and then it's like
part of your health. It's part of your health.
Yes.
Whether you want to admit it or not, it is.
Or not.
Yeah.
So good. What about you, Vicky? What's on your mind, Mama?
I'll tell you what's on my mind. What's on my mind was in the News and Observer on Tuesday here in Raleigh, and I was out of town. I left Tuesday. I didn't read the paper, and I just saw the headline right as you asked me, "What's on your mind today?" Earlier, there's a group of parents here in the Triangle of North Carolina, which is basically Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill is the Triangle, and Triangle parents developing a gender inclusive sports league. And reading the story on the front page just made me feel so much joy and so much excitement. As a family medicine physician and as a mom, the emphasis on sports and involvement and being part of a team and how that's so critical to a person's growth, development, and health and wellness is just really critical, and something I'm very, profoundly aware of. I'm sure Dr. Lulu is as well as a pediatrician, and it's been very, very difficult for me to see all the laws that are being passed across our country, basically with the premise of protecting women in sports. But in reality, what it's doing, it's really marginalized our very, very a group of individuals that really needs to feel that they belong and feel seen and feel heard for who they are. And that's our transgender youth. During the summer, I was so thrilled to be involved in an organization here we have in the Triangle called Triangle Ultimate. And their mission is basically to provide an opportunity, a community organization that allows all individuals to come together. If anyone knows anything about Ultimate Frisbee, that is an organization that has done a lot of work for a long time promoting transgender individuals participating within those sports. But that's specifically Triangle Ultimate. It's Ultimate Frisbee. This organization that's working to start a gender inclusive sports league is basically addressing all different kinds of sports. And as I read the story, I basically emailed them. I found the organization and emailed them. There are two women or two individuals that started something called Durham Queer Sports, a community sports league and social group for LGBTQ plus people. And just the knowledge that just last weekend, a group of 40 parents got together in Durham with their children to allow them all to play together. Many of these kids don't have an ability to sign up for a sport in their school because it's either boys this or girls that, boys track or girls track. Not a lot of co-ed opportunities. And those are now, it is illegal in the state of North Carolina to allow a transgender child to participate through elementary school, high school, and college. Transgender individuals are not allowed to participate in a team that does not align with the basic anatomic sex that they were born with. And that really hurts my soul. That bill was passed in late June, and I was, downtown trying to speak out against it, but not given a voice. But it didn't matter. They had already made up their mind. And this is happening across the country. And there's a lot of debate on both sides. But the problem is the purpose is just really, in my opinion, not elevating women, but basically marginalized transgender youth is what's going to happen. So
it's never been about women or trans youth. Actually, it's about votes. I found that out. It's sad, but it's about what topic is polarizing enough to get people to go to the polls. This is it. It's not about, they don't care, because as you said, those parents, those kids, they're the same kids that go to school in the public school system that doesn't allow them to mix with the other kids. So it's never the kids or the parents. It's the people who are making the laws because they know what they're going to say to make people, oh, that's it, I'm going to go vote. And then the way they spread the disinformation. I found out that disinformation is purposely spreading misinformation. I was like, wow, okay.
It's just, and for me, there's just it's a small population, and the number of transgender competitors in the state of North Carolina, we're really talking about like count on one hand. It's competitive. So to have people so incensed and outraged and speaking out against a handful of people, it's hurting our youth in schools and making them feel more marginalized. So
Yes.
this sports league that's being developed made me really excited because I really want to find out more and follow them along and see what we can do to make sure this goes past Durham to Raleigh and Chapel Hill and all across the state and
Amen.
other places across the country that are doing this.
Yeah. Especially since we know that sports is so good for your mental health. I mean, these kids are
Belong to
already,
the team.
yes,
Learn
these
to
kids
work
are already
as a team.
struggling. I swear to God. Kim, do you want to say anything? Or Afsane?
Yeah, I actually, but our guest first, if you would like, if something's on your mind.
Yeah,
please.
sure.
Yeah.
Afsane, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, thanks so much, Vicki, for raising that and drawing attention. There's been hundreds of bills proposed across the US and states across the US. And it just makes everything really dangerous. There's already, high suicide rates, high murder rates amongst trans people. And it's like there's nothing about it that's about, protecting kids or respecting kids. And I just wonder, like, is that what we're supposed to focus on instead of climate change, other problems that are existing in the world? Is this really the root of all evil? So I'm glad that you raised that. And I think it's just something we have to really fight against and find ways around.
And I will say this, my gender diverse children are not athletic. I mean, they're not, but it harmed them just knowing that this passed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It harmed them just knowing that this bill passed because
That
they
is so
feel
true.
as if they're excluded from that. And so these bills keep sending messages that are
Yes.
harming my children. So
That is true.
Exactly.
That is true. That is true. And you don't have to be a Black person to know that. You don't have to be the Black person that is being persecuted to know that when one Black person is persecuted, you feel persecuted. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it can be here, but if you're Jewish, just because you live in New York, doesn't mean that if something's happening to Jews elsewhere, you're not saying, "Oh, it's those people." No, it's still
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. It makes it real.
Kimmy, you were going to say something, honey?
Yeah. I had brought up your article, Vicki. I had dinner with my sister and my brother-in-law and my youngest was there, and we got to talking. My sister and I and my youngest, we got to talking about the article and talking about sports and how it relates to anybody that identifies as gender nonconforming. Well, my youngest chimed up and said, "Well, you can use me as an example." And I said, "Well, how, like, what do you want me to say?" And so I'm using, this platform as his voice, but, the things that they go through as they're going through, like he was very athletic, growing up, very rough and tumble and tried pretty much every sport imaginable through, elementary and middle school. Ended up really enjoying volleyball and was essentially bullied off the team. And I didn't realize this until today because he knew that I would have mama beared it, right? So kids don't tell you everything.
Wait. So mama bear is now a verb. Okay, people, did y'all just hear that? Mama bear is now a verb.
Mama bear is a verb. Thank you.
Mama bear did. I love that. Mama bear
welcome.
is now a verb. I love that.
Yeah. So I would have mama beared the hell out of that thing. So, and he knew it. And so he's like, yeah, I never said anything, but I was basically bullied because I was telling my friends that I was transgender, and they all assumed immediately that I was on testosterone and was having some sort of advantage, or you don't belong on our team. Well, you don't belong on our team. And then, so he stopped sports. We still have challenges with education and making sure that he's getting the education he needs, but sports is not an option right now for him.
Yeah.
But I hate that it ended that way. And I hate that I just found that out today.
Can I tell you, that's so interesting. So I got to tell you this crazy thing. Before my daughter, Sarah, transitioned, before I moved away from my hometown, she was on a soccer team. Of course, it was boys soccer. And my youngest who was at the time like 6, was on a soccer team. And they had the same color jersey. So here you are, a mom with these 2 kids, and they're on soccer teams at the same time, and they have the same purple jerseys. And for some reason, I was like, this is so great. My oldest, my youngest, they're so cute. And we have this big celebration countywide where all the teams come together all day and the pictures are taken. So you think about this. I did not know my daughter was transgender. We're in this rural Appalachian town. It's the big day where all the teams are playing and the pictures are being taken. And that last year, now this is 8th grade. You think about middle school, 8th grade, that last year where they were playing soccer and were with the boys playing soccer. And that picture, the photographer's trying to take her picture and she's near tears. She is near tears. And here I am, like, what is going on?
Yep.
And she's crying. And I'm like, what is wrong? And she's like, never mind, never mind. Well, I knew years later, looking back on it, that day had to be a living nightmare for her, a living nightmare. And I'm thinking, I have these 2 sons and they're both wearing these purple jerseys and they're living their best lives. And my child, who had pretended and pretended and pretended, it all just was hitting. And as the photographer's trying to take the picture, and I'm just clueless, a clueless mom, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And so that's,
I just got flushed because I was just like thinking, I have an 8th grade picture of my youngest posing with a volleyball, and he looks absolutely miserable.
oh,
Like on the verge of tears.
That was
I
my
could
kid.
barely
That was
get
my
him to
kid.
take the picture.
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just sitting here going,
I know. It's really
That
gets
was
you.
my
is
kid.
a lot. This day
No,
is
it's
a
like
lot.
playing soccer. You have to play soccer. You have to man up. You have to. Oh my God, I don't even want to think about those. Because
Yes.
that's just for me. It's
Don't throw like
triggering
a girl.
to think about it. Yes, I want to. We are at the bottom of the hour, so I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to a very special group of people. They are on the northwest side of town. If you live in San Antonio, Texas, you know exactly where the northwest side of town is. On my side of town, Apollo Wellness. Apollo Wellness is a medical center like no other. They are there to take care of LGBTQ plus folks who may or may not be dealing with HIV. However, it's not about that. It's about the fact that they are affirming. They will not turn you back. Note, they are in the state of Texas, but they will not turn you back. There is hope. There are some doctors' offices who are taking care of queer folks. One of them is Apollo Wellness. Go there, tell them you heard about them on this here show. You might even get a discount. Shh, I didn't say that. All right. Y'all go check them out and come back and tell them Dr. Lulu sent you, will you? All right. So the show is called Moms for Trans Kids, and we have been talking about mommying trans kids. It's real out here. We talked about a mom who's going to get a neurodiversity checked out, for lack of better terminology. We're talking about a mom who's joining us all the way from Mexico because she's a fierce advocate for her kid. We're talking about a mom who's known as Vicky, a family physician, who is also just elated because she found out that in her state and in her city and in her state of North Carolina, they actually have parents like us who are trying to start a league for gender diverse youth so they can just play and just have fun. Kids just want to have fun. Ooh, I'm so excited. So y'all, we have the second half of the show to go, but during the second half, we're going to deal more focusedly with our guest today. Her name is Afsane. Afsane, you know what? Just tell the people who you are and why you're on this show. And you have 3 reasons. I think you have them somewhere around you there. Why you actually want to share what having a child who is gender diverse can do to you. You just become an advocate, an activist, an ally, an author. You become all the things you need to be. Kimmy, I'll let you in. I'm not sure what's going on. You're frozen. All right, Afsane, take it away.
Yeah. So thanks so much for having me, letting me join you. So I had a child, thought I had a girl, didn't, my child was never really into girly toys. And I feel like when kids are really young, like preschool age, it's all like, oh, a girl, I'm going to go buy these toys. Oh, a boy, I'm going to go buy these toys. And my kid wanted to be Spider-Man and loved superheroes and action figures and was not drawn in any way to any of like the girly stuff at all. And a couple of times when they were 3, they would go up, it happened a couple of times. They went up to a boy and said, "Hey, can I play with your action figures?" And the boy said, "No, these aren't for girls." And I was raised on Free to Be You and Me. I don't know if anybody watching this remembers Marlo Thomas and Friends and Free to Be You and Me. And I was like, we're past gender stereotypes. What is going on? And we're not, unfortunately. They're still alive and well. So when I get really angry, it makes me creative and I take action and do things with my anger. And so that was when I wrote the first picture book. It's called Jamie is Jamie, a book about being yourself and playing your way. And it is all about gender neutral play for young kids. Let kids play, let them be themselves. Adults, leave them alone. If they're not hurting themselves or anyone, let them play whatever and just be themselves and explore what that is and create the spaces for kids to be themselves. So that was the first book, which was really well received. And I, have it's dedicated to my child and, it has this super special place in my heart. But then it went a step forward because then a few years later, they told me that they're non-binary and their pronouns were they, them. And that was a very difficult thing for a lot of people to wrap their heads around, especially very, beloved, near and dear family members who to this day do not use they, them with my child. And it's something we have to just constantly talk about. But I wrote the second Jamie book called Jamie and Bubby, a book about people's pronouns, where Jamie spends the day with their great grandma. And my grandmother is turning 98 soon, and my kid calls them Bubby. So it's, very much a love letter to my grandmother. And they just walk around, and Bubby makes all kinds of assumptions based on haircuts, based on clothing, and uses the wrong pronouns. And so it's a discussion, and Jamie in all the books is sort of the teacher. Jamie very lovingly, kindly, patiently explains to everyone around, Bubby, that's a woman. Bubby, that's a man. Bubby, that person changed their pronouns. That's a woman now. Bubby, here's how you use the singular they. If you're not sure, don't make assumptions. Here's why we have the singular they, and here's how to use it. So that's really what the book does. It creates the language that maybe adults need to read. Like there's tips in the backs of the books for adults. And it's really about how do you communicate these things? How do you create the space? I don't think kids particularly have a hard time with the singular they. I think it's more adults, like my age and older. It's like our brains have a hard time, wrapping, making those changes, but it makes a lot of sense. And then the third book was sort of where my kid, what my kid needed in their development. And this is all about self-advocacy. And this is something that has come up. Well, this one's not showing so well, but Jamie's class to say a book about sharing with grownups. And this is, it still includes gender affirming, but it's really how do you, as a child, speak up and tell your adult who you are, what you like, what you dislike, what's important to you. It's such a hard thing for young children and older children to tell their parents, right? Like even in this conversation, not wanting to say, Mom, I hate this team. Mom, I'm so miserable with this experience. Yeah. And then how do we as adults receive that? And so actually a number of the adults end up having to apologize.
Oh,
we all do. Yeah.
All done that.
Yeah. I even almost want to take a moment just to hold space for you and to thank you for doing the work, because there are lots of talkers, but there's some of us that are actually doers. So absolutely, thank you so much. That is amazing. Wow. And you've already got 3 series. I'm trying to put this back so people can see your name. I don't know what I'm doing today. So I can put it back so people can see your name, but I don't know what I did.
We lost Kim. Maybe Kim. Yeah. Oh, there we are.
No, okay, I found it. So that people can see your name. So Afsaneh Moradian. Yeah. This is such a beautiful work. Go ahead.
They're on Amazon, but they're published by Free Spirit Publishing. And I'm so grateful that Free Spirit recognized the need for these books and wanted to put them out. And, it fits under social emotional learning, which has come under such fire in certain states. And, right along with critical race theory, right? You're in North Carolina, right?
Yeah. I was actually going to ask you about that because I do have a children's book that's going to do something similar, and we could talk about that off air just because I already know what it is and I already started working on it, but I'm just so happy that you came into my life and you take me to the next level with free spirit and whatever else. Welcome back, Kimmy. So if you're just joining us, the show is called Moms for Trans Kids, and we are talking about mommying trans kids and all the things, the guilt, the fear, the shame, the advocacy, the allyship, the activism that spells mommying trans kids, or fathering, of course, or
And then,
daddy.
and then the apologizing. That's the
Well,
other.
that too. Yeah, just all of that. Yeah. And Afsane was just sharing about her 3 books, and they're available on Amazon. And you could tell us again the names of the books so people can go and find them. I'm trying to write. Kimmy, I know you were able to write in the banner. I've tried multiple times and it's not letting me write. So if you could please write down the names of the books, or maybe Afsane, if you could write in the comment section, just post in the comment section the names of your books so I can highlight them because they're not letting me write them. There's a comment section at the bottom right. I don't know if you can see that. Just write the names of the books so I can highlight them like I've been doing in the past, because it won't let me, for some reason today, it won't let me. But the books are just basically the things that we're talking about, but on a beautiful note, because it's a child teaching the other children and teaching the adults. So beautiful. Welcome back, Kimmy. So Kim and Vicky, do you have anything you want to say to Afsane? Any questions maybe you want to ask the author, the beautiful author?
I'm just so glad you're writing these books. And isn't it, I mean, it's just so wonderful that, that you're able to talk about this topic so freely. And, I think that we're getting to a point now where we're starting to feel much more comfortable as a society having these conversations about things. And, we have to include our children. This is everyday life. This has nothing to do with politics. This is who our kids are. And you writing books about that genuinely is just so special. And geez, I wish I had those a long time ago. but I'm so glad that they're there now for parents who need them. So thank you.
And thank you so much. There's a wonderful young transgender man in our family's life called Cam, who is a preschool teacher. And those books are probably books that Cam has read and shared with children. It just really, I think, is so sad for me to hear people feeling as if by reading these books, it's grooming behavior, because it's not grooming. It's basically just making sure everyone understands everyone else that might be in the room, and also allows an individual that would otherwise not feel comfortable saying to the teacher or to their parents who they truly are, because at some point, hopefully in all our lives, we will figure out who we truly are. When we're children, we usually know. And then, as you mentioned about neurodivergent individuals, they often will continue to express their true identity while other children learn to hide their true identity to fit in. And by having books like this that can be read to children and then to adults to understand how much honesty children have, it's just beautiful. I'm like Googling them to I got to buy these. My husband, he keeps saying no more books, but I love books.
Well, you have 3 more books, minimum of 1 to 3, minimum of 3 more books, and then a whole series coming from me, because my Unica the Black Unicorn is what I was talking about. So Unica the Black Unicorn is a gender fluid unicorn who is Black, and she has Afro puffs, and her pronouns are she and they. I'm so excited to share her story with the world. She's kind of sort of me, but maybe not me. Who knows? But anyway, the books are coming, whether they like it or not. I'm just happy that we could hold space for Afsane today to share. Afsane, do you have anything else you want to add? We have about 15 minutes before the show is over. This is usually the point where we take questions. So I see 2 people watching us on LinkedIn, 2 on Facebook, so about 4 people in total. If anybody has any questions for the author about the books that they've written or anything that we've talked about today, please go ahead and let us have them.
I have a question, Afsane. I want to know what your child thinks of the books.
Oh, my kid loves the books. Absolutely loves them. And would read them, and biggest fan. And I think you just have to stop and think, how would it be different if kids as young as 3-4 years old felt validated and respected and truly loved for who they are? And that's what these books do. So while they're gender affirming and they're meant to create space and inclusivity, the first book, because it's about play, all kids love that book. And when I would, go to schools and read and talk to classrooms full of kids, I remember all the girls sharing their creepy doll stories and how they all have a doll on their shelves that it creeps them out and they couldn't say no. And it's like, oh yeah, I had one too.
Chucky.
the whole like realization of what is childhood, right? How great a role adults play and how kids see themselves and how they think it's okay for them to be. So if we're like, whoever you are is great, we love you, just be yourself. It would just make such a big difference. I think it would make a huge difference going into adolescence, going into adulthood. I don't think we would have people who have to feel like they have to hide themselves, that they have to
kill themselves. Kill themselves.
But
I want to ask you how old is Jamie, and is the series going to grow up with Jamie, or is the series going to remain at Jamie's age? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
My series is actually for now, the first 6 are just going to be at the same age as the unicorn is, and I don't know yet if the unicorn is going to grow. You know what I mean? Like if it's going to grow into like a young adult and also talk about adult stuff. So that's what I mean. So is Jamie about the same age as your kid? Is it roughly based on your kid? And are they going to grow?
So the first book was inspired by the situation with my kid. What I wanted to do with Jamie was choose a gender neutral name and not define Jamie at all. So there's no pronouns ever used when it comes to Jamie. So Jamie is whoever the reader needs Jamie to be. And that I wanted to leave it like that so that kids can identify themselves. So Jamie can be trans, non-binary, a boy, a girl, because it's the freedom, right? It's being a good friend, and it's the freedom to be who you are that Jamie is modeling, and how to communicate that. Like there's a lot of communication in these books for adults and for kids. What are the words that you say? How do you say it? That sort of thing. So
I love that. I can't wait to get my hands on all the books in the world that have to do with this topic, because I do plan on, and I know Kimmy knows this, I do plan on opening a coffee shop where we're going to have books and authors do like open mics, and
I want to come. I want to come do a reading.
Yeah, of course you're coming. Of course you're coming. Of course you're coming. Hello, of course you're coming. We just have to stay connected, and you have to keep your eyes on my social media to hear what's happening where. But yeah, so cool. Kimmy, were you going to say something? I'm sorry, I think you were going to say something.
I'm just so, I guess that took me by surprise when you said you didn't allude to what Jamie identifies as. And that's such a great, it's brilliant. That's a brilliant concept. I'm here. I'm here for all of it. But my question was, before you blew my mind, my question was, would you ever follow Jamie through, or would you ever see Jamie go on a journey to be non-binary, then trans, then maybe gay, or like a changing or an evolving journey? Just wondering, or Dr. Lulu, or I don't know if you guys ever have.
No, I mean Unica is going to do that. Unica is going to be assigned female at birth. Unica is me. and I'm
Mhm.
Unica. Unica is going to be assigned female at birth and going to be gender queer. I want Unica to be gender because I want to shed light on
Yeah.
gender queerness and non-binariness and the fluidity of all things
Right.
seaweed, right? Not just gender, but other things. Somebody said earlier today that everything is so gendered. Somebody said that today. One of us said that today, how everything is so gendered. And because everything is so gendered, you're trapped even when you don't want to be trapped.
Sports are so
Yes,
gendered.
I think you said that. Sport. Yeah, you said in sports everything is so gendered.
You know,
Exactly.
co-ed is a thing. Co-ed sports is not a new concept.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
But
there's not much
I get it.
competitive, right? It's uncommon.
Well, I
And-
come from Nigeria. It's like they would die if you even just propose co-ed because the colonization is so heavy and so thick.
Mhm.
I played soccer when I was in medical school. We had to have our own female team. It was like we couldn't even practice with the boys. It was just like it was so binary.
Yes.
But we had some really good players that could have probably taken down some boys, right? But
Yeah.
it was just so high. Told y'all. I'm
Yeah.
in a podcast. Never fails.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
I don't know what I was talking about, but go ahead. Oh my God.
Well, to answer, so I mean the Jamie books, the second one is Jamie and Bubby and Jamie's great grandma, but the first and the second books are about Jamie's class. If they're about the other kids are actually the ones who go on the journey because in the first book, the kids are like, wait, are you a boy or a girl? Like I'm doing ballet, you're doing ballet with me. Are you a girl? So, and then in the self-advocacy one, the kids are having a really hard time with, I mean, I don't want to give away the whole book, but like,
Yeah.
Can you say that again? Just say it again. The kids are going on the journey.
The kids are on the journey.
children
Jamie really is the guide. Jamie's not the center of these stories. Jamie is the really amazing friend, the loving person who gets it and is explaining and supporting and helping everybody else, really. So the self-advocacy one, it starts with one girl shows up to school, wearing unicorns and the horn, no offense, but the unicorn thing. And they say, oh, you look so cute. And she says, I hate unicorns. I'm so scared of unicorns, but my mom thought I looked cute. So she's like wearing this outfit that she is like, she hates it. She's scared of it.
I love it. That is why it's a story. This is why you have nothing to apologize for. I thought long and hard before I chose a black unicorn. They don't exist. But Unica is a black unicorn, and her name is spelled with a K, and a unicorn is spelled with a K. So Unica is it's in a word by herself or themselves because she has those two pronouns. But this has been amazing, Kimmy. I'm sorry we keep losing you. I think you were going to say something.
No, I put down hold. Look, things happen. That was deliberate. Let's just say that.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So we are the Moms for Trans Kids podcast. Oh my God, there's been so much. Woo! I love the new concept, by the way, because it really helped us kind of go multiple places. But we
covered a lot.
Yes,
we covered a lot today.
I'm going to let one of you do a summary because the light is giving me a headache already. I've been trying to. I'm going to need one of you do a quick summary.
Summarize. Kim, you're
Vicky, take it away.
Oh gosh. So in summary.
Well, talk about what you remember, and then Kim will say what she remembers, and then
what I remember is we have a lot of things to be grateful for, and central to our gratitude is the fact that we have had the gift of being parents to gender diverse children. So that's a lot of our gratitude is in that. I learned that our guest is amazing and incredibly intuitive and obviously a genius in writing books that are really geared towards children, but have a lot to teach adults. And I can't wait to get my hands on them. I will share them widely. And I learned that by just finding those other gems that understand the journey you're on can help you continue along this walk we all have as the journey of being parents. Honestly, the amount of patience and understanding that it takes to become a parent of a gender diverse child helps us be parents to all our other children that we're blessed
Love
with.
it.
So that's some of the highlights.
Yeah, and I think we could, and I think maybe to be fair, maybe I could have just said just one thing that you take away from the. I mean, that's also fair, right? Just one thing. I see Marcia Cerezuela is here with us. Boa noite. I think that's Portuguese. Hi, Marcia Cerezuela. Actually, Kim, we'll talk offline about somebody who's Portuguese who walks into my life today. But welcome to the show, Marcia Cerezuela. If you have any questions for our guests, please ask away. For me, my one takeaway is I like the way the book is actually designed, that the person is the guide and Marcia, what's oi? Oh, okay. We're learning Portuguese today. I was right. So I just love the way that the book is designed. The person is the guide and the person is a gender. And I like that because one of the things I talk about, one of my books, as y'all know, is titled, What If God is Non-Binary? And it's on its way. And I think God is non-binary because God is also a gender. So maybe Jamie is God. Wouldn't that be cool? I love it. All right. Anybody else has anything else to say before we call it a day today? What a beautiful day of learning.
I would just say that the English teacher in me thinks you should write an essay about the books and if Jamie represents God. That sounds like an essay topic, right?
Oh, it's done. It's a done deal. But I'm a wordsmith, so I'll take on any project that has to do with writing. I'll take it on. I want you to send me an autographed copy of the book, so I would like to talk about that offline. But then before we leave, I want you to tell the people how they can find you, follow your work, and find your books. And if you want them to get the books directly from you, like I'm gonna do, tell them, because I only want to collect autographed books because I can.
Sure. So the Jamie is Jamie series is available from Free Spirit Publishing, or the individual books are on Amazon if you do Prime and you want them sent to you directly. And the titles, the titles are kind of long. I put the short versions in the comments so you can find them. On the Free Spirit website is a free downloadable teacher's guide for all three of the books. So activities, discussion questions, all kinds of things that you can do with the books for your class or if you're homeschooling. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's maradian.absine. For homeschool coaching, it's mlccoaching.com. And I'm on Facebook too, but not so much about this stuff. It's more like my personal profile. But you can send me a message and I'll answer. I'll get back to you. So
can you write that so I can, because people watch this on the replay. If you write it, I can pin it. I can't write anything today, won't let me. So just write your website and your IG handles and stuff like that. And I can pin it before we have 2 minutes on the clock. Anybody have any going away words before we head on out into the beautiful week full of abundance? Kimmy, Vicky, yes,
well,
no, maybe so.
I just want to thank our guest and just know that I think that you're going to have great success with these books. They can try to ban books all they want, but these books are important to talk about. It has nothing to do with grooming. It has everything to do with just looking at this and celebrating this wonderful spectrum we have. I mean, when we talk about, being neurodivergent, it's a spectrum, right? It can go from this end to this end and everywhere in between. Why not have or entertain the concept that maybe gender is like that as well? Like there's a spectrum for gender, and just looking at in that light, it makes me really kind of just want to just sit back and take that all in and appreciate it. So hopefully we can have better discussions moving forward if we look at gender as a spectrum, just like we would look at something like neurodivergency. So
love it. As a spectrum or as non-existent, just however they feel. Agender is none of the above, but I love that. I do want to mention something that occurred to me as you were talking. Elon Musk is autistic, right? Mm-hmm. So I learned recently that Elon has a trans child that Elon has essentially disowned. And I was like, wow, isn't it funny? Because we now know that neurodivergence, aka autism, as the prototype, is closely connected to gender diversity and gender nonconforming. So Elon giving birth to a child who's trans is actually almost a natural progression because it has a familial tendency. They don't have a gay gene, and they call it a gay gene for sexuality or whatever the deal is with transgenderness, whether there's a gene or not. But we do know that being LGBT is familial. So when you find one, you tend to find others, right? Which is why people like Kim has two have. Kim has. People like Kim have. English. People
still
like
have 'em.
Kim have, but Kim has. Yes, people like Kim have, but Kim has two. And
Hey, Dr.
Vicky
Lulu.
has two. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe I can teach Elon a thing or two.
Oh, hello. Hello.
He could be watching.
He
Maybe
could be watching. Who knows?
the
You know,
replay.
we're going to put it out there. If anybody knows anybody who knows Elon, tell him to watch this show because we called his name today.
Please.
It's like, you know what? I'm gonna tag him because I can. I'll tag him.
I think he might be too busy destroying Twitter, but maybe when he's done, can come.
I'll tag him anyway, so somebody in his office will see it. But yeah, and we said good things about him, or did we? I don't
Yes.
think.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, so it is 7:00. Ooh, who could have thought? Okay, so every good thing comes to an end. We're gonna take 30 seconds to say our goodbyes, and then I'll exit the stage to the left. I'm going to start with Afsane, our beautiful guest who came today and just blew Vicky's mind, to say the very least. Afsane, tell us goodbye in your words and we'll let you go.
Thank you so much for having me. It just makes me beyond happy to be here with the three of you, to know that you're doing this show and creating this space. And I am just so full of love and gratitude for everything that you're all doing. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And follow Afsane on MLC Coaching on Instagram. Was that what you said? MLC Coaching?
It's my name. I couldn't put stuff in the comments. I'll have to just message you. But on Instagram, it's Maradian.Afsane or MLC Homeschool Coaching. If you look up MLC Homeschool Coaching, you'll find me. That's
Okay,
easy.
I know MLC was there and I couldn't type it in. So MLC, homeschool coaching, type those three words together. Google will find our guests for you today. And I wanted to mention to you specifically, Afsane, please tell other people about this show. We are going to be launching officially on the 13th of November, which is the first day for the Transgender Remembrance Week or something. So I'll send you the link so you can spread the word and tell everybody so we can get more people to sign on that first day and leave us reviews so we can maybe hit the first, I don't know, top 100, who knows. But yeah, what about you, Vicky?
I am so grateful for this time. As we draw to an end, I'm always just so almost speechless sometimes with the sharing and the thoughts that came out of this. I'm looking forward to another week of meditation with my friends, keeping ourselves accountable, and seeing everyone next week. So thank you for this time together.
Yeah, I was going to say to Afsane, when your next book comes out, if you'd like to come back, let us know. Okay, I just wanted to mention that because I love that you're doing series. So if your next book comes out, since we're following me on social media, just let me know and I'll make it happen. Just wanted to put that out there. What about you, Kimmy? What you got?
Well, sorry for my technical difficulties. Apparently, I'm having a hard time keeping an internet connection in my area.
That's okay.
So I'm just happy that we had this discussion. I just want to thank everybody again for being so open and welcoming, and it was a great conversation. We have lots more to talk about though, and I'm really excited to talk to Elon.
Yeah, I mean, and this show one day it's probably gonna last an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Who knows? I was keeping my fingers crossed because I wanted to end by saying I want to give flowers while I can to the parents in North Carolina who are defying this stupid rules and are saying to themselves and to the world that we can, yes, we can. Our kids deserve to play sports if they want to play sports, and being transgender has nothing to do with it. Go ahead and give them a shout out, please.
I have their names. I have their names.
Yes.
Their names are on the front page Tuesday. Anne Surcowie Hemstreet and Allie Fion. And they are in charge of starting this sports league for kids of all gender identities. Let's make them all friends of ours.
So I'm sending y'all, well, all four of us are sending y'all flowers.
Yes.
And just telling you that we love you. We love the activism. We love the advocacy. And we love the allyship that you are showing to our children. As a pediatrician, I can't say enough. I love you so much. And just like that, the show has come to an end. We never want to leave this show, but every good thing comes to an end. And so long, farewell. Have a wonderful, amazing, abundant week full of everything good. My name is Dr. Lulu, and I'm out. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.